Good morning, my friend. Or good evening, whenever you've chosen to spend this quiet moment with me. Before we begin, take a slow breath. Nothing urgent, nothing alarming, just a calm conversation between you and me. Have you ever noticed how the evenings feel different now than they used to? The house gets quieter, the world slows down, and there's a gentle sense of reflection about the day, about the years behind you, and about the years still ahead. Here on Health Tips for Seniors, we talk about those moments, not with pressure, not with warnings, but with understanding, respect, and practical guidance that fits real life after 60. This channel isn't about chasing youth. It's about protecting comfort, confidence, and independence, one calm step at a time. So settle in. This conversation is just for you. And by the end of this video, you may look at your evenings and your body a little differently. Let me paint a picture that might feel familiar. You've had a good day. You could go for a walk, do some light housework, or spend time doing something you enjoy. You're tired, but it's that good kind of tired, you know? The kind that says you've actually done something with your day. So, evening comes and you settle in. Maybe you have a light dinner, perhaps just some toast, a small salad, or a bowl of soup. Nothing too heavy because who wants to go to bed on a full stomach, right? You watch a little television, read for a bit, and then off to bed. 7, 8, maybe 9 hours of rest. But here's what many of us don't realize is happening during those quiet nighttime hours. You wake up the next morning and something feels off. Your legs feel a bit weaker getting out of bed. Your arms seem to have less grip strength when you're making that first cup of coffee. And over weeks and months, you notice that tasks that used to be simple, opening a jar, carrying groceries, getting up from a low chair, they're all just a little bit harder. We often chalk it up to age. Well, I'm 65 now, we tell ourselves. I'm 72, what do I expect? But what if I told you that something particular is happening while you sleep? Something that has less to do with your age and more to do with one simple evening habit that most of us get completely wrong. Today, we're going to talk about something that surprises most people. How the hours you spend sleeping can either protect your muscle strength or quietly take it away. I'm talking about nighttime muscle loss, and more importantly, how you prepare your body for sleep can mean the difference between waking up weaker or ready. Now, I want to be clear right from the start. This isn't about fear. This is about understanding. Because once you understand what's really happening in your body overnight, you can make simple, gentle changes that help you hold on to your strength. And the best part? These aren't complicated medical interventions or expensive supplements. They're straightforward adjustments that fit naturally into your evening routine. After 60, our bodies do change. That's simply true. But those changes don't mean we're powerless. In fact, some of the most effective ways to maintain muscle strength are also the easiest to implement. They just require us to think a little differently about what we do in those few hours before bed. So let's understand this together, step by step, with no rushing and no confusion. Just clear, practical information that puts you back in control of your own strength. First, let's talk about what's actually happening at night. When you sleep, your body goes into what we might call maintenance mode. It's repairing cells, processing the day's activities, and yes, making decisions about your muscle tissue. Here's the thing. Your muscles are always in a state of balance. Throughout the day, they're being broken down a tiny bit from use, and they're being built back up from the nutrition you provide and the signals you send through movement. But overnight, something shifts. For 7, 8, or 9 hours, you're not eating, you're not moving, and your body has to make choices about what to do during this long stretch without new fuel coming in. After 60, our bodies become much more conservative with resources. If your body doesn't have the right materials available during those nighttime hours, it starts looking at your muscle tissue as a source of energy and building blocks. Essentially, it begins borrowing from your strength to maintain other vital functions. This isn't happening because your body is betraying you, it's actually trying to keep you alive and functioning. But without the right preparation, this natural overnight process can slowly, steadily reduce your muscle mass. The medical term for this age-related muscle loss is sarcopenia, but I don't want to get caught up in fancy words. What matters is this: every night is either an opportunity to protect your muscles or a missed chance that adds up over time. The good news? Once you know what your body needs, you can give it those things, simply, gently, starting tonight. Let me start with the biggest factor, and the one most people get wrong without even realizing it. It has to do with protein. Now, you might be thinking, I eat protein. I have chicken or fish for lunch sometimes. And that's wonderful. But here's what many of us don't know. When you eat protein matters just as much as whether you eat it. Let me explain this as simply as I can. Your body can't store protein the way it stores fat or even carbohydrates. When you eat protein at lunchtime, your body uses what it needs in the next few hours, and then it's gone. It doesn't sit in some reserve tank waiting for later. So if you eat your last significant meal at 5 or 6 p.m., and it doesn't include much protein, maybe it's toast, cereal, fruit, or a simple salad, then you're going to bed with nothing for your body to use during those long overnight hours. Remember, you're about to go 7 to 9 hours without food. That's a long time for your body to be without the building blocks it needs to maintain your muscle tissue. After 60, our bodies also become less efficient at using protein. We need it more than we did in our younger years, and we need it spread throughout the day, especially in the evening. Think of it like this. If you had a garden that needed watering, you wouldn't give it all at 10 a.m. and then wonder why it's wilted by evening, would you? Your muscles work the same way. They need consistent nourishment. Now, this doesn't mean you need to eat a huge steak before bed, not at all. But having a modest amount of protein in your evening meal, or even a couple of hours before bed, can make a tremendous difference. We're talking about things like a small serving of Greek yogurt, a handful of cottage cheese, a few slices of turkey, some scrambled eggs, even a glass of milk if you tolerate dairy well. The amount doesn't have to be large. Research suggests that 20 to 30 grams of protein in the evening can help protect muscle overnight. That's about the amount in 1 cup of cottage cheese or 3 eggs or a small chicken breast. Simple, right? But for so many of us, this one adjustment, having quality protein in the evening, is the missing piece we never knew about. The second factor is about what happens in those evening hours before sleep. For many of us, the pattern goes something like this. We have dinner, we sit down to relax, which we absolutely deserve after a long day, and then we stay sitting until we head to bed, maybe 3 or 4 hours of complete stillness. And while rest is important, something happens when we remain completely sedentary for long stretches in the evening. Our muscles start getting the signal that they're not needed, that they're not going to be called upon. And at night, when the body is already in conservation mode, this signal becomes even stronger. Now, I'm not suggesting you go for a run at 9 p.m. or start doing jumping jacks before bed. That would be counterproductive and disrupt your sleep. But gentle movement in the evening, even just 10 or 15 minutes, sends a completely different message to your muscles. It says, "We still need you. Stay strong. Stay ready." This could be as simple as a slow walk around your home or outside if the weather permits, some gentle stretching while watching television, a few careful body weight exercises, standing up from a chair and sitting back down 10 times. Even just standing up every 20 minutes to walk to another room and back. The key word here is gentle. We're not trying to exhaust ourselves. We're just reminding our bodies that our muscles still have a purpose. There's also something beautiful that happens when we move a little in the evening. It actually helps us sleep better. Light movement can ease tension, calm the mind, and help us feel more settled when we do lie down. So you're not just protecting your muscles, you're also potentially improving the quality of that nighttime rest. 2 benefits from one simple habit. Here's something that might surprise you. Being even mildly dehydrated overnight can contribute to muscle breakdown. Many of us, quite sensibly, reduce our fluid intake in the evening because we don't want to wake up multiple times to use the bathroom. That makes perfect sense. But here's the balance we need to find. Our muscles are about 75% water. When we go to bed already a bit dehydrated and then go 8 or 9 hours without any fluids at all, our muscle cells don't function as well. They become more vulnerable to being broken down rather than being maintained. The solution isn't to drink a huge glass of water right before bed. That would defeat the purpose. Instead, it's about staying well hydrated throughout the day and early evening. Try this approach. Have your last full glass of water about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. That gives your body time to process it. Then, if you feel you need it, just take small sips closer to bedtime, enough to keep your mouth comfortable, but not enough to fill your bladder. You might also consider keeping a small amount of water by your bedside. If you do wake up during the night, a tiny sip can help without causing problems. Think of hydration as another form of nourishment for your muscles, just like food. They need both to stay healthy and strong through those overnight hours. There's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's about the state of mind we carry into sleep. When we're stressed, worried, or anxious, even if we're not fully aware of it, our bodies produce more of a hormone called cortisol. And while cortisol serves important purposes, having elevated levels overnight can accelerate muscle breakdown. Think about your typical evening. Are you watching news programs that leave you feeling uneasy? Are you lying in bed replaying worries about money, health, or family? Are you going to sleep with your mind still racing? All of that tension affects your body in real physical ways. High stress hormones at night tell your body it's in some kind of danger or crisis, and in that state, maintaining muscle mass becomes a lower priority for your system. The gentlest way to address this is to create what I call a wind-down ritual in your final hour before bed. This might include turning off screens 30 minutes before sleep, listening to calming music, doing some slow, deep breathing. Just 5 minutes can make a difference. Write down tomorrow's concerns on paper so they're out of your mind. Spending a few moments thinking about what went well today. I know life isn't always peaceful, and I'm not suggesting you can eliminate all stress, but even small shifts toward evening calmness can help your body feel safe enough to focus on repair and maintenance rather than survival. And here's a lovely truth. When you protect your muscle strength by reducing evening stress, you're also giving yourself the gift of better sleep, a calmer mind, and more resilient emotions. Everything connects. One final factor that many people don't realize affects nighttime muscle preservation: the quality of your sleep itself. When we sleep deeply and well, our bodies produce growth hormone, a natural substance that helps repair and maintain muscle tissue. But when our sleep is disrupted, light, or poor quality, we produce less of this helpful hormone. One of the simplest ways to improve sleep quality is through temperature. Research shows that we sleep most deeply when our bedroom is slightly cool, somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit if possible. When we're too warm at night, we tend to wake more often, sleep more lightly, and spend less time in those deep, restorative stages where muscle maintenance happens best. Now, I know heating and cooling costs can be a concern, especially for those of us on fixed incomes. You don't need to turn your whole house into an icebox, but even just opening a window slightly if the weather permits, using a fan in your bedroom, choosing lighter blankets, wearing lighter sleepwear. These small adjustments can make your sleep more restorative, which in turn helps protect your muscles overnight. Good sleep is truly one of your greatest allies in maintaining strength as you age. And the beautiful thing is that all the other changes we've talked about, the evening protein, the gentle movement, the stress reduction, the hydration, they all support better sleep too. Everything works together. You're not adding 5 separate, complicated tasks to your life. You're making a few gentle adjustments that all support the same goal: protecting your strength while you rest. So let's bring this all together. If you've been noticing that you're not quite as strong as you used to be, or if simple tasks feel harder than they once did, you're not imagining it. And more importantly, you're not helpless in the face of it. The nighttime hours, those 7, 8, or 9 hours that we think of as simply rest, are actually a critical time for either maintaining or losing muscle strength. But now you know what to do. Have some quality protein in your evening meal or before bed. Move gently in those evening hours, even if just for a few minutes. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Create a calming wind-down routine that reduces stress, and give yourself the gift of good sleep in a comfortable environment. None of these things is complicated. None requires special equipment or expensive programs. They're simply about being intentional with the hours before sleep, treating them as the important preparation time they truly are. And here's what I want you to remember most. Your body is remarkably resilient. Even if you've been losing muscle strength for months or years, your body can still respond to the right care. It's never too late to start protecting your strength. You deserve to wake up feeling capable. You deserve to move through your days with confidence in your body. And you deserve to enjoy these years with all the strength and vitality you can maintain. These evening habits we've talked about today, they're not just about muscle. They're about independence, about dignity, about being able to do the things that matter to you for as long as possible. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this information was helpful, I'd be grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people who might need to hear this find their way here. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to Health Tips for Seniors. We're building a community of people who believe that aging doesn't mean giving up. It just means being a little wiser about how we care for ourselves. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take good care of yourself. You're worth it.